News 360 here at Desawe in Accra. I am Martin Esidugate.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Khalid. The headlines tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Patriotic Party flag bearer hopeful Kennedy Japan wants a vote for any other candidate means party is bound for opposition.
You today. Opposition is just staring at you. In 2024 election, MPP lost that election in 2022.
Also coming up, we bring you the story of Burkinabe asylum seekers brought from Garu to Zebula who have embarked on a grueling journey by foot from Atarikom community.
And later, as Volta River Authority starts controlled spillage of Akosombo and Bon dams, we visit one of the communities to explore the impacts.
Later on the international front, Libya's top prosecutor will investigate the collapse of 2 dams in eastern port of Derna that killed thousands of people.
Stay with us here on News 360 for the details of these stories and many others, including sports and entertainment. We're also live on DSTV channel 279.
Let's go to your election command center now. The new Patriotic Party flag bearer contender, Kennedy Japan, says he offers the best option for the party in securing victory in the 2024 elections than any other fellow aspirant. According to him, the party lost the 2024 elections 2 years ago when the cedi depreciated heavily against the US dollar, causing businesses to lose money. Kennedy Japan, who was addressing hundreds of supporters after his showdown unity walk, insists that he is the only one that can turn the tide in the NPP's favor if elected as flag bearer.
There is only one man in NPP that Ghanaians are craving for, and that is Kennedy Japan. Give him the opportunity to lead you.
I am boldly and confidently telling you today. Opposition is just staring at you.
There is too much intimidation in our party. Opposition is staring at you.
In 2024 election, MPP lost that election in 2022.
In the 2024 elections, NPP lost in 2022 because many businesses collapsed and pensioners lost their monies. That is when Ghanaians advise themselves.
It definitely was a showdown walk in favor of Kennedy Japan and his supporters. Let's interrogate a number of the things he said. Joining us on Zoom now is Dr. Hayford Nsia, who is a political science and public policy analyst. Doc, good evening. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
To start with, what is your understanding of what Kennedy Japan said, looking at it from the political perspective?
What he said really carries a lot of weight, right? For me, based on the performance of the MPP government, and with Dr. Bawumia being the vice president of the government, voting for Bawumia means increasing the former President Mahama's chance of becoming president again. So Kennedy is absolutely right. In my analysis, he is the only one who can really beat Mahama easily because he has a solid message that really resonates with the people. So far, Vice President Bawumia has not really given us any policies that we can really say that this is exactly what he's going to do. So basically, voting for Bawumia means voting for Akufo-Addo's government. And based on the speech by Honorable Kennedy Japan, he is poised on using industrialization, tourism, mechanized agriculture and agro-processing, especially in the 5 northern regions, to feed Ghana and create employment for the youth. And I believe it is possible that he can do it, especially using the Ghana Export-Import Bank, the EXIM Bank. He can really use support from the EXIM Bank to push these industries into the 5 northern regions of Ghana to achieve these policy objectives or policy statements that he has laid down. It is possible. Because if you look at the mission of the EXIM Bank, is to facilitate the transformation of Ghana's economy into an export. Export one, a particular industry that really support the development of trade between Ghana and other countries. And it is possible. He knows exactly what he's saying.
Okay.
He knows that.
Okay. And as part of, as part of a party, he is a member of the party, and with a party that is looking desperate to retain power. If this is coming from one of their own, would that rather spur the party on to, in the next few months, see how best they can change the fortunes of their political fortunes? Or this clearly is going to dent whatever campaign the MPP generally is going to put forward?
Well, for me, he has been part of he's part of the MPP. He's not a cabinet member. He's not one of the mainstream policymakers or policy contributors of the party, right? When it comes to his constituents, he is doing his best. They believe he is the best. That's why they keep voting for him. Now, with his criticisms tells us that Ken is not a conventional politician. He's the unconventional politician. We tried the conventional ones, and they failed us. And it is time that we give him the chance, that he implement the policies that he keep hammering on day in and day out. If MPP should bring him on board, then MPP stands the chance of retaining power. If they fail, in the unlikely event, because I strongly believe he will win, in the unlikely event that they vote for Bawumia, then they should be preparing for opposition for probably the next 8 years.
Right. And Doc, would he not be campaigning on the achievements of the current MPP government? What message would he have, or how would he craft his campaign? It definitely is going to be on what President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia have done in the last 8 years. Wouldn't that be?
Partly true, because no one can say that Bawumia and Akufo-Addo has failed woefully. They haven't. They've shown some successes in certain policy areas. So their policies were excellent, but it's the implementation that has really hit them hard, and also certain focusing events that hit the world. But they can't just use that as an excuse. He has identified the loopholes, the weaknesses of his own party, and he has criticized them. And he is coming up with an alternative measure. So he will emphasize on the successes of the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government, and also emphasize on their weaknesses and how he can resolve those problems, those challenges that the Bawumia and Akufo-Addo government has been confronted with.
Okay. And my final question to you would be, how should the opposition NDC, which is the closest, in terms of forming the next government, how should they take this message, and what should their reaction be?
I think the worst nightmare of President Mahama is to wake up on November 4th or probably 5th and hear that Kennedy Japan has won. That would be his worst nightmare. Because up till now, since President Mahama was elected as the flag bearer of the NDC, he has not really laid down any policies. He hasn't started explaining his policies. All he's doing is criticizing the MPP government, saying that he could have done better. Done better in what way? The NDC should start laying down their policies. They should start telling Ghanaians their policies, especially the youth, the grassroots, what they can do to alleviate the unemployment, what they can do to revive the economy, what they can do to create businesses, local industrialization. Ken wants to focus more on revamping the local industrialization. Up till now, we don't know what President Mahama intends to do. If they want to really move forward, then they should tell us their policies and let us know how they intend to implement those policies.
Okay. Dr. Hayford Insia, thank you so much for your time this evening. He's a political science and policy analyst.
Meanwhile, some political party executives have expressed satisfaction with the limited voter registration exercise so far. Though the queues are still long, applicants are determined to secure the ID cards to vote in the district-level elections and the 2024 general elections. Ibrahim Abubakar has filed this report from Kumasi.
There appears to be some improvement with regards to the registration process here at Asylum compared to the one. Though long queues are still visible, the process is moving a bit faster. Chairs have also been provided for the applicants to reduce the stress that they go through in trying to get their voters' ID. So far, over 600 applicants have successfully registered between Tuesday and Saturday. For most of these first-timers, they are bent on getting their voters' ID regardless of any challenge because they want to be part of the decision-making process politically in 2024.
I came since Tuesday, but the line was very long. So now, as you can see, the line is going far. So, but I've done mine. For me, now I want to vote for the next president coming so that he can help the Ghana to move very well.
I came here at 7 a.m., but I got my card around 3 p.m. The queue is long, but it's exciting to get my voter ID card. I'm happy I'll vote next year. Political party representatives have lauded the process so far, but pray for an improvement.
So far, so very good. Since we started, we've recorded incident-free registration, and that is something we need to be thankful of, because Asawase constituency has been on the spotlight. People, the assumption is that there will be chaos, there will be a lot of irregularities and other issues arising, but so far, so very good. It has been raining intermittently since day one. The sun also has been at least been a major hindrance. So if there were to be a lot of machines, I think it will help facilitate the entire exercise.
We still have another registration ahead of us. So that registration will also, I'm praying that it will also be like this. That continuous registration will also be like this. We are not going to hustle, we are not going to fight each other. So this, the coexistence must exist beyond today and 2024 elections.
We had to buy some of these applicants here, else they may not come and register because of the distance. It is important each and every person of age vote in the next general elections. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Asylum.
We stay on issues of the ongoing limited voter registration, and amidst mounting controversy and legal battles, the Electoral Commission's recent decision to limit the ongoing voter registration exercise to its district offices has ignited a fierce debate in the political landscape. This contentious move has not only prompted legal action and accusations of incompetence, but has also deepened public mistrust. Noble Crosby-Annan has more in the following report.
Each district office will serve as a registration center.
The Electoral Commission's recent decision to restrict the limited voter registration exercise exclusively to its district offices has raised concerns among certain political parties and civil society groups.
I strongly urge the Electoral Commission to facilitate the registration exercise in all its electoral areas, to allow for easy access.
Facing multiple lawsuits, the Electoral Commission commenced the limited voter registration exercise on September 12. One of two private citizens, Precious Aita, filed contempt charges against the Commission. Nevertheless, serving the Electoral Commission with a contempt application posed a significant challenge.
We are told that no official is in there. They are all gone out to supervise from the chairperson to even people at legal.
But on Friday, September 16, The commission asked its lawyers to receive the application on behalf of the person cited. The opposition, the National Democratic Congress, had earlier voiced concerns about the dire consequences of the Electoral Commission's actions.
They shouldn't close their eyes on this flagrant disregard of the principles of democracy and rule of law.
Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Alhassan Suhini, also accused the EC of going rogue, arguing that its actions pose a threat to the country's democracy.
The Electoral Commission of Ghana has simply gone rogue, putting our democracy yet again under threat.
A Democracy and Development Fellow at CDD Ghana, Dr. John Osai Kwapon, believes that the Electoral Commission's conduct is exacerbating mistrust within the public.
The EC as an institution is currently operating under a cloud of a low level of trust. The obligation to restore trust in our institutions is on the institutions themselves.
Dr. Kwapon suggests that it may be worth considering a more decentralized registration process.
I don't think it's an unreasonable request that is being made where individuals, the political parties are saying, you know, if you think of distance between the voter, you know, and the district office, etc., etc., is there something that you can, you know, do about it?
For private legal practitioner and political commentator Martin Kpigbu, the happenings within the Electoral Commission speak of Chairperson Jean Mensah's lack of competence.
This particular decision of the EC is one that defies logic and any other criteria that will move our democracy forward. Because the things they're doing just shows that they are all incompetent. Madam Jean Mensah's track record had always been there as an incompetent person, and she brought into the EC office.
But political historian Professor Ransford Jampo, while countering the accusation of incompetence, agrees that Jean Mensah's performance has fallen short of expectations.
You cannot doubt her competence. It, however, appears that ever since she went to chair the commission, certain things that we were expecting would have happened are not happening in a way and manner that we all expect.
Professor Jampo contends that since its inception, the election management body has consistently failed to foster trust among the citizenry.
It appears that the Electoral Commission from 1992 has been plagued with this challenge, and chair upon chair has not been able to do anything to address.
However, Director of Communications for the NPP, Richard Ahiagba, blamed politicians for contributing to the prevailing lack of trust in the EC.
The EC's rather perceived trust issue verified in the empirical study is as a function of political bastardization of the Electoral Commission, which includes my own political party and the NDC. So it is not new, this conversation. We should not then, on the basis of that, get to the point where we are saying that the EC is so battered.
The coming days are likely to be crucial in addressing these concerns and working towards a more equitable electoral system that upholds the right of citizens to participate in shaping the nation's future. Noble Crosby Annan, TV3 News, Accra.
Away from that, over 200 asylum seekers brought from Garu to Zebula by the Ghanaian authorities have embarked on a grueling journey on foot from Atarikom community. The Burkinabe asylum seekers, consisting mainly of women and children, are seeking to return to their communities in the Garu district, about 110 kilometers away from Zebula.
Seekers arrived in Ghana from Burkina Faso and were being taken care of by community members in Garu, where they were able to secure farmlands for cultivation and raise animals. The asylum seekers had sought refuge in Ghana following disturbances in Burkina Faso. According to them, they were brought to Atarikom for registration by the Ghana Refugee Board with the intention of being permanently settled there. This decision did not sit well with asylum seekers, as it will mean leaving their cultivated crops and livelihoods in Garu.
We arrived here in Ghana 6 months ago and have settled in some communities in Garu, where we made small farms to take care of ourselves and our children. We are surprised that they are relocating us. Our farms are ready for harvest, but look at what is happening. We appeal to government to allow us to stay in Garu.
The asylum seekers hail from Denugu, Kogri and Songo communities in the Garu district, about 110 kilometers away from Zebula in the Boko West district.
They brought us here with 3 buses and told us that we had to stay here permanently. We have no other option, but we plead for them to allow us to return to Kugri and Denugu communities to salvage the crops we cultivated. We need food and water as our children are suffering.
The plight of these asylum seekers underscores the complexities surrounding refugee situations and the challenges faced by those who have been displaced from their homelands. They want the government to reconsider their relocation plan.
Quite an unfortunate development there. That's why we want to engage the Executive Secretary at the Ghana Refugee Board, Tete Paddy. Mr. Paddy, thank you for joining us on News 360 tonight.
Good evening, Aisha.
What is causing the conflict between the board and the asylum seekers from Burkina Faso?
Right, so I heard on the tail end of that clip, the asylum seekers saying that they need water, food and water for their families. That is exactly the reason why we've asked them to relocate to Tarikum. We did not force them, even though the law, the Ghana refugee law, states clearly that it is the Minister for the Interior who determines where asylum seekers live. The reason why they're not, we're advised to move them by security is that standard refugee management practices require that refugees or asylum seekers live at least 50 kilometers from the border. Now, I'm sure you can appreciate that the presence so close to the border is a threat to the community and to themselves, because it's so easy for people, the insurgents who chase them out, to chase them into our territory. And there's a reason why we've asked them to relocate to Tarikum. Now, at Tarikum, those who are there now, we have over 700 people there. They're being fed 3 times a day. They have shelter, they have all other amenities, and we're even in the process of, we've engaged the Ghana Education Service to enable them attend school. The children attend school in the host community at Tarikum. So it is not a case of refugees or asylum seekers coming into our country and determining for us where they want to stay. I think that we need to declare that this is a security threat to the communities along the border, and for that reason they need to move. And they are not being taken away to be dumped there and left there. They're being taken there to be taken care of. So I don't see the reason why it is an issue at all.
Well, how about letting them harvest the crops they have planted this season, in order to move during the off-season?
That is something we can easily accommodate. And indeed, when we asked them to relocate, they agreed. About 3 days ago, a group of them did the same thing. They agreed, and you can check with the host community. We've engaged the chiefs of the communities that received them. We've engaged the district authorities. We've engaged they themselves that they should move to this place. We are not unreasonable so that we will ask them to move. But what happened is that the first group more or less tricked us, said yes, they are moving. They came to Tarikum. They took all the items that we were giving them, the non-food items, the cooking pots, buckets, all the things that we need on a daily basis. As soon as they took them, they got back into the buses and left. And so this second group thought they could do the same thing. Came, they were given, when they came, we asked them clearly, are you staying? They said yes. They were given the NFIs and then they said they were leaving. The NFIs were taken away from them and the buses were not waiting for them. That is why this time everybody has heard about it. So that's what happened.
Right. So, Mr. Paddy, in the interim, what's going to be happening to these asylum seekers, especially since Most of them are women and girls.
Women and girls. We provided a place for them to stay. So there's no crisis here in the sense that they've been given a place to stay, they're being given food, they're being given access to health services, they're being given access to education. What more can we do?
Well, thank you very much for your time this evening. Mr. Tetepadi is the Executive Secretary at the Ghana Refugee Board.
In more news tonight, former President John Dramani Mahama has urged minority tribal groups whose nationality is being challenged to insist on their rights. The 2024 NDC flag bearer was addressing the Zongo Stakeholders Forum in Accra.
At that time, there was no country called Ghana. The Fulanis used to bring cattle to come and sell. The Zambrames were here. The Gaos were here. The Moshis were here. Everybody was here long before we knew that there would be a country called Ghana in the future. If you look at those who fought in the Second World War, go to Kumasi, there is a memorial there, and read the names of those who died, went and fought and died. You see all those different northern tribes, Hausas, Yakubu Hausa, they all went and fought in the Second World War. In the Second World War, there was no country called Ghana. And so today, when we have a country called Ghana, all of us make up that country. Ghana is a country united in diversity because it is the various ethnic groupings that make Ghana strong. And that is why when we come to registration and you mention your name and say, who are you? You say, I'm a Fulani. You say, oh, you are not a Ghanaian, what challenge you? You say, so I'm a Hausa, you are from northern Nigeria. Everybody in this country came from somewhere. We all migrated and came. And so we must take note of this history and realize that all of us are Ghanaians and that we have equal rights to be recognized as Ghanaians. And so when we're going to do our national identification card, our voters card, it should not say because I'm a Gonja, I'm not a Ghanaian. I'm a Hausa, I'm not a Ghanaian. Our great-great-great-grandfathers came into this land long before we ever knew that there would be a country called Ghana. And so we must insist on our rights. We're all Ghanaians. We are united in our diversity. And it is our diversity and our culture that makes our nation strong.
The Volta River Authority has begun a controlled spillage from Akosombo and Bon dams due to the high water levels. My colleague Godwin Asidiba visited Abume, one of the communities affected by the spillage, and has filed this report.
The community of Abume relies heavily on the river for their livelihood, which is primarily centered on fishing. The business of the community has been significantly affected due to water spillage from the Akosombo Dam. I am in the middle of a river in Abume, in Akosombo, not really far from where the dam spillage is happening. But there is a disturbing issue here. Most of the fishermen who fish around here in Abume continue to tell me that the spillage is going to be of a huge impact to them because the level of the water has risen really high, and if you pay critical attention to the level at which the water is moving, the speed is really fast, and with a small mistake, trust me, this water can easily carry someone away. But they also tell me that what can really be of a huge impact to them is when the water make way into their rooms. When the dam is open, it puts our work on hold. It's a worry.
I don't go fish again. But I go there, I don't go do the work. I catch the net there, currently go hard. Okay. But I don't go people. If speed the water, the boat go turn. Yeah. You don't go people the boat.
Other individuals who use canoes for transportation have expressed concerns about the increased water levels. 16-year-old Deborah Agwemafle regularly paddles her canoe to a nearby community to grind her cassava, but she was unable to do so due to the high water flow from the dam.
I feel difficult to drive the canoe because when you are driving, the water is overflow. So when you are driving, if you don't have a strong bones, when the river is flowing, it will take you to another place. So when I'm coming, I can't even drive, so that man helped me to drive.
The passengers on board her canoe expressed fear.
I feel bad and I was afraid. Though I know how to swim, I know how to drive the canoe. But today, no. It's so different.
In the Abume community, there is a complete absence of life jackets, leaving residents with no choice but to endanger their lives while traveling and fishing. The chief of Abume, Togbe Duzonu II, recalls how a similar spillage on November 1, 2010 led to some casualties.
They opened the spillage for that it destroyed people because of the fish. When the fish were coming, they rushed. So how the water is forcing to capsize your boat, they will die.
According to the Volta River Authority, the elevation of the Akosombo Dam has risen and is expected to reach the maximum operational level if the rate of inflow continues. Some of the communities that may also be affected are New Senchi, Old Senchi and Atimpoku, among others.
It's been raining and there's a lot of water behind the dam, which if you don't spill, it will have a very big negative effect on the operations of the dam. If we don't educate them on the floods that will come, if it is so much, it will be very high. But fortunately, VRA and the communities have done a lot of education to the people.
In a statement from the VRA on September 15, 2023, according to the Deputy Chief Executive E&O Engineer Edward Obeng Kenzo, the decision to spill follows the observed consistent rise in the lake level due to the high inflows. He added that VRA is fully aware of the heavy rains being experienced across the country, leading to some levels of flooding and high water levels in some communities. He said it is for this reason VRA is undertaking this controlled spillage to mitigate any adverse impact. He stated that VRA will continue to monitor the situation and update the public accordingly, but efforts to get the authorities to speak with me on camera proved futile.
Godwin Asideba, TV3, Akosombo, Eastern Region.
Still watching News 360 on TV3. Still to come, the head of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj, calls for support and advocacy for passage of the Affirmative Action Bill. Details of that and more right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo Paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo Paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo Superior Paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Wow, this place has changed, yo! Yo, Ajwa, look at you all grown up, yo!
Some things never change, like Gino's quality recipe that gives my food that rich color, unique natural taste every time.
Smells good, yo!
Hey, sister, with the wapun sano and kasa, just like I remember.
Uncle, hurry up and let's open the suitcase.
Ajua, chai, na me shrink quite far.
Best jollof I've ever eaten.
Wow, this is real jollof, mommy.
Gino dear, Emma Jania de Ankasa.
Say Gino dear, fie. It's delicious, yeah.
This advert is FDA approved.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, Soft Care always stays with you.
New Soft Care Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
Soft Care. Protect your leap.
Welcome back to News 360 on TV3. The Commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, Joseph Whittal, has called for support and advocacy for the passage of the Affirmative Action Bill. He believes that the passage of the bill is necessary for gender equality, which is critical for a flourishing democracy.
The Affirmative Action Bill is to foster female representation in decision-making in Ghana and ensure gender equality. The bill targets women's participation in decision-making by proposing that 40% of public offices be reserved for women. It has, however, received little attention by various governments for over a decade. At a democracy lecture, Commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Joseph Whittal, said gender equality is crucial in democracy and development.
Why would you take or submit yourself to be elected and to form a government and to set up, give appointments to people for public service, and you don't want their integrity to be questioned? I'm at a loss. What is this type of democracy?
The 2020 presidential candidate for the Progressive People's Party, Bridget Jogbenuku, mentioned that the low women's representation in key decision-making positions is hindering contribution of women in Ghana's development.
There are more women in the country than there are men. Having women participate in political leadership makes developmental sense. This is not just for the beauty of it, or just to say, okay, so we have offered for tokenism. We actually contribute economically to the development of this country.
Affirmative action has worked in some other African countries like South Africa and Rwanda, and advocates believe that there is time for Ghana to also pass the bill. Women's representation in policy-making positions in Ghana is below the United Nations threshold of 30%. Currently, women's representation in Parliament is at 14.5%, while it is below 5% in the District Assembly system. In March this year, Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Laribat Zuwera Abudu, mentioned on the floor of Parliament that the bill had been resubmitted to Cabinet for consideration.
And now a political historian at the University of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, has admonished voters not to be influenced by the apology of Dom Kwabinya MP Sarah Josafo. Manasseh Aprum has more in the following report.
An admission of wrongdoing, an explanation in a seemingly solemn posture of remorse. These elements featured in the public apology of the MP for Dome Kwabinya, Sarah Safo.
I wish to state that I'm sincerely sorry. I apologize for my actions and inactions. None of my actions were intentional, deliberate, or not calculated to bring disrepute to our great party.
The lawmaker's absence from Parliament and her constituency for over a year led to allegations against her on the basis of negligence of duty, among others. Her absence caused her party, the New Patriotic Party, a great deal of decision-making nightmares in Parliament, as a hung Parliament made it quite impossible to undertake crucial government business. As the then Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, she was unable to see to some pressing issues within the ministry at that time. She was referred to the Privileges Committee by Speaker Alban Bagbin due to her 15-day absence without permission. The committee recommended that her seat be declared vacant due to her inability to provide an explanation for her absence, but the Speaker stated that the committee's report must be presented to the entire House. The embattled MP returned from the US and resumed her duties as an MP on November 11, 2022, but her appointment as Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister was revoked by President Akufo-Addo on July 29, 2022. Her formal apology this week has received mixed reactions from her constituents.
Because it's getting closer to the election year, so I think it's one of those things of politicians. I don't think it's going to change anything if she's bringing that apology up.
We will vote for her if she decides to contest again. We have accepted her apology.
Director of Communications of the MPP, Richard Ahiagba, speaking on the key point, asserted the party's acceptance of Adwoa-Safo's apology.
I think that she's come around full circle, and her apology, as human as we all are, I think that we need to exercise our humanity in supporting her. But as to whether that gives her any political advantage, I think that it is for a constituency to determine.
NDC Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Alhassan Suhuini, maintains indifference regarding this matter.
One of the ingredients of good governance is for the executive to be held accountable. And so if you had a position that was popular with the people, in this case, people were against the e-levy. All the research that people conducted, including the University of Ghana conducted, showed that the e-levy was unpopular. And you had the opposition, amplifying the voices of the people. And her absence made it possible for the people's views to hold sway. That's right.
Political historian at the University of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, however, noted that Adwoa-Safo's apology should not influence voter decisions, but rather an introspection into the quality of their lives should be the decider.
Any decision as to whether she would continue to serve as a member of parliament or not shouldn't be contingent on her apology, whether it is from a contrite heart or it is a mere afterthought. I mean, this shouldn't be determining whether she will continue as an MP. If she must continue as an MP, the constituents must determine how best she has been able to serve their interests over the last 4 years.
In the meantime, Sarah Adwoa-Safo has hinted she will be seeking the mandate of MPP delegates to contest again in the 2024 polls.
Politics is a game of numbers. So I have met my constituency chairman and I have told him what I am telling you now. And I know at the right time he would have to also come in if he has to. Because if it's the will of God and the people want me, I will not desert them.
But as to whether delegates will give her the nod again, only time will tell. Manasseh Aprum, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, this is News 360. We have some sports news coming up next.
It's on my nephew. Wow, this place has changed, yo! Yo, Ajwa, look at you all grown up, yo!
Some things never change, like Gino's quality recipe that gives my food that rich color, unique natural taste every time.
Smells good, yo!
Hey, sister, with the wap Ponsano and Casa, just like I remember.
Uncle Ebo, hurry up and let's open the suitcase.
Ajua, chai, name shrimp kwampa.
Best jollof I've ever eaten.
Wow, this is real jollof, mommy.
Gino dear, Emma Adriana de Ankasa.
Say Gino dear, fie.
It's delicious, yo!
This advert is FDA approved.
Make life beautiful. Embrace it with the all-new Ahofe from GTP. Lifestyle.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
It's on my nephew! Wow, this place has changed, yo! Yo, Ajwa, look at you all grown up, yo!
Some things never change, like Gino's quality recipe that gives my food that rich color, unique natural taste every time.
Smells good, yo!
Hey, sister, with the wap Ponsano and Casa, just like I remember.
Uncle Ebo, hurry up and let's open the suitcase.
Ajua, chai, name shrimp kwampa.
Best jollof I've ever eaten.
Wow, this is real jollof, mommy.
Gino dear, Emma Adriana de Ankasa.
Say Gino dear, fie.
It's delicious, yo!
This advert is FDA approved.
Segment is brought to you by Bell Pack Tissues.
Welcome back to News 360 on TV3. Time now for sports. Aniela is with us. Hello, Aniela.
Hello, Martin.
Don't talk about Manchester United.
She's super excited about that.
I was trying not to, but I'll be showing you some of the United highlights because you need to see that. A lot of 3-1 victories today, though.
Okay.
You know, we're talking about Manchester City, Liverpool, but not for Manchester United because Brighton just stole the show. But before then, we're starting off with the first round of the Ghana Premier League, and Bafokeng Tano held Great Olympics to a goalless draw at the Accra Sports Stadium. Let's take a look at the highlights and the reactions from the managers after the game.
That's right. Saka's delivery straight to Asari. Solomon Chunis corner. Ashikwe goes down in the box. No foul. Here is Osei. Here is Ansan. He shoots on the weaker left foot and it's a goal kick. 40 minutes in Accra. Olympics 0, Bafokeng 0. Ali Al Hassan. Here is Bafo. Godami. Now Boache sends the cross. Najib. Flag is up, offside. Adari has taken the whistle to his mouth. And that's the final whistle at the Accra Sports Stadium. Second game.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a good result. You know, coming to Accra and then playing against Olympics. What initially we tried to do is not to concede. So we were very sure if we don't win, at least we don't have to concede, and then we can get a draw. So for me, I think it falls within our expectation. So for me, I think it's a good result for us.
I'm really disappointed because earlier on I told you how Bofakwa is coming, and I will have an antidote to them. In fact, the first half they dominated the game. Until the second half, I have to do some changes that we have to have a drawn game.
Proceeding to round 5 of the English Premier League, Manchester City fought back from a goal down to beat West Ham United. Slipped to their third defeat of the season as an impressive Brighton left Old Trafford with a 3-1 victory. Meanwhile, Liverpool came from behind to secure a 3-1 win against Wolves. High-flying Tottenham also staged an astonishing turnaround to beat Sheffield United 2-1.
Safe, but here's Bowen to Sofao. Doku has to go some to get back at him. Sofao with loads of time. Ward-Prowse is free in the middle. Had a bright first half at times, and here he goes. Oh, it's a moment of quality for this new talent in the Premier League. Alvarez, the scoop ball, and they're in again. Well, that's what matters. And they have the numerical advantage here, City. Can he pick the right pass? It's Holland!
Now a Dingra, Lallana, Welbeck! Gross! What a finish! João Pedro! Hannibal. Coming through, Hannibal! Well, what a finish that was!
Great work from Neto. And in! Hwang Hee-chan! Jota, it will come to Salah, and it's touched home for a Liverpool equaliser. Robertson again, it's Robertson! Absolutely fabulous. Up his options, finding Elliott, who off the post finds a third for Liverpool. If there was doubt before, there is none now. He's got great distance on that. Over McBurney. Hammer! Quite incredible, isn't it? Corner number 15 for Spurs. Richarlison! Højbjerg. Richarlison. Kulusevski. Oh, would you believe it? A sensational victory for Tottenham Hotspur. Magic for Spurs, tragic for Sheffield United.
Following Manchester United's defeat at home, head coach of Brighton was very pleased with his players and had this to say.
Yes, we played a great game. We deserved to win. We played well in the first 15, 20 minutes, I think. Maybe less. We suffered a lot because Man United played in different way. We prepared before the game, but after that moment, I think we played a great game. But I think the game has changed when we kept the ball. No, in that moment, their pressure was strong, and to keep the ball to helped us to control the game, more control the game. And then we have 4 attackers, very fast, very good player. Lallana more quality in ball possession, but well back at Ingra and Mitoma, you know, the potential they have.
Heading over to boxing, CEO for the Box Office Sports Promotions, Alex Ntiamu-Abuachi, has attributed Ghana's inability to qualify for the Summer Olympics to insufficient preparations and the decrease of the quota for Africa.
Bombers and 5 hitters failed in their separate campaigns, humiliating Ghana's hopes of repeating its 2020 Tokyo Olympic achievements. The setback has sparked contentious discussions, with some commenters demanding the removal of the technical team's leader. Alex Ntiamu-Abuachi, boxer promoter and the chief executive officer of the Box Office Promotions, claims that a systematic failure is to blame for the issue.
Inadequate preparation. It's all boils to the funding. You know, there are people who have been preparing themselves 2 years ago. They have gone to 2 African championships, but Ghana failed to participate in the last 2 years. Also, we didn't get good preparation in terms of camping. You cannot use just 1 month campaign to go and win over people who have been in camping for a long time. And also the second thing is, this year is just 1 person being selected. So if you are not able to win a gold, there is no way you will be selected to go to the Olympic.
Alex Ntiamu, one of the gold medalists in the 2023 Homawo Box Up competition, visited the CEO of Bayes Pharmacy Limited in Accra, one of the primary sponsors of the event.
We were very satisfied to see these young people doing their best and winning all these trophies for themselves. It shows their commitment to all these things that they want to do and brings out that passion in everything that they do. So this is a stepping stone for them to achieve something greater in their lives, and it's for them to bring Ghana's flag up so that when they go somewhere, they'll say that, hey, I did this, I achieved that, and this is where I am now. Thank you.
At the meeting, improvements of amateur boxing were also explored.
That will be all for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alote. Up next is international news.
Libya's top prosecutor will investigate the collapse of 2 dams in the eastern port of Derna that launched a fast-moving wall of water that killed thousands of people and largely destroyed the city. General Prosecutor Al-Sadiq Al-Sar told reporters that local authorities, previous governments, and the allocation of the dam's maintenance fund will be scrutinized. Conflicting death tolls have been reported, with officials in the east and west of the divided country giving different estimates. Figures for the number of dead vary from around 6,000 to 11,000, and with thousands still missing, the city's mayor says the total could reach 20,000. The World Health Organization (WHO) said on Saturday the bodies of 3,958 people have been recovered and identified, and with 9,000 more still missing. The head of the United Nations Food Agency has said a global hunger crisis have left more than 700 million people not knowing when or if they will eat again, and demand for food is rising relentlessly while humanitarian funding is drying up. World Food Programme Executive Director Cindy McCain told the UN Security Council that because of the lack of funding, the agency has been forced to cut food rations for millions of people, and more cuts are on the way. The WFP said nearly 47 million people in over 50 countries are just one step from famine, and a staggering 45 million children younger than 5 are now estimated to suffer from acute malnutrition. More than 345 million people are facing high levels of food insecurity this year, an increase of almost 200 million people from early 2021 before the COVID-19 pandemic.
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Martin Esiedudate.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Have a good evening and enjoy the rest of our program.